I woke up, actually no, I did not wake up in a bad mood, but right now I am in the worst mood, and yet I'm deciding to film a video anyways. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Liz, and in today's video we are going to be doing a part 2 to a video that I did last summer, and that is talking about book icks. I really personally loved filming this video last year, and I only talked about like 12 or 13 book icks in that video, and I know there's so many more to discuss. I've just been really craving a kind of video like this where I can just sit down and rant about some things that happen in books that just personally irritate the crap out of me. Now, to elaborate on why I'm in a bad mood, I woke up, it's my first day off in a while, and so I decided to go to the grocery store. I only had to get a handful of things. Like I had to get some stuff for Milo Murphy, had to get some new body wash for myself, just like a couple of things, okay? I am trying to exit the parking lot, and there's a car in front of me. This lady is in front of me, and she's also turning. She's doing exactly what I'm trying to do, and I'm waiting patiently behind her. She then puts her reverse lights on and starts to reverse backwards. Meanwhile, I honk, and I'm like, girl, I'm right here. She keeps reversing, and so then I'm like panicking. I quickly reverse my own car, and I start backing up because I'm like, she this close to hitting me, this close, and meanwhile I'm still honking. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Thankfully no one was behind me, otherwise I would have gotten backed into. I almost get hit, okay? That's the first thing. Then I decided to go treat myself and get a coffee because that was traumatic, and I was like holding my breath and like anxious the entire time when this whole thing happens in the grocery store parking lot. I place a mobile order on my phone, pull up to Starbucks. I'm at the window. If you have not used the Starbucks app, you can pay ahead. I think you're supposed to pay ahead. I pull up to the window. The girl who's at the window, she goes, that'll be $14 something. I look at her, I'm like, no, I used the app. And she was like, yeah, that'll be $14 something. Also, mind you, I bought one drink and it was like $5 or $6. I think she was just new on the job, or she was confused because she kept insisting that I owed her more money. And thankfully another worker then walks up and she's like, did you have a mobile order for Liz? And I said, yes. And she's like, okay, here's your drink. And then I'm like, thank you. And I drive away. That's not the biggest deal in the world. It really isn't. But the fact that like I almost get hit, and then I go and I'm like trying to treat myself to a nice drink to like calm myself down, and then this happens. I'm so irritated just in general with people today. So thankfully I'm just gonna rant. It's a great day to be in this mindset because I am just gonna be ranting the entire time in today's video, and I'm so excited. I know you guys are also excited because I am hyped up. Enough story time. Let's talk about some book icks now. I went back and I rewatched my previous book icks video just to make sure I didn't like accidentally do the same one. I still agree with all of my thoughts and opinions that I said in part 1. Also, let's note, these are opinions. These are not factual. So please do not come for me and say you're wrong. This is all just entirely my opinion. I'm a silly girl who loves to read, okay? And I just happen to have some opinions about it. It's nothing personal on those who do these things or do enjoy these things. My tastes are slightly different, okay? Starting off with a bang, literally. Books that have smut / overly excessive smut in them. I have mixed feelings about this. First of all, I think smut can be done tastefully, especially if it's a book where like we're leading up to this, we're leading up to our two main characters finally getting together. I think it can be done tastefully. Now, are some of the smut scenes a little bit more on the graphic side? Of course they are. Some people love smut. I don't mind it, but I don't look for it in my books. Like I do enjoy it sometimes, especially if it makes sense with the plot. But when a book is all smut, that's when it gets a little annoying. It's like, okay, where's my plot though? Like I want a story. That's why I'm reading this, you know? I want an actual story to go with this smut. You know what I mean? Moving on, we have deckled edges. Okay, this is whenever the edges are a little like rough looking. I don't know how you would describe that. I personally love this. I have a friend who hates this, which shout out Caroline. I took a bookbinding course in college, and we had to be able to rip down our own paper and create our own journals, and every single one had deckled edges. To me, it looks like it's more homemade. Like it looks more real and authentic rather than it having the cleanly sliced edges, especially if it's a fantasy book. If it's fantasy, I love having the deckled edges because it feels like it fits. Next up, kind of in a similar vein, we're gonna say dust jackets. I understand why dust jackets are the way they are. I get it. Will I be pulling it off as soon as I start a book? Yes, I will. Okay, as soon as I start any hardcover book, if you've been watching my videos, you know, okay, that dust jacket is long gone. When I put the book back on my shelf when I'm done reading it, do I put the dust jacket back on the book? Yes, I do. I like having the original cover with the book. I know some people take the dust jacket off permanently and just put like the bare naked book on the bookshelf. I do think that also looks very satisfying as well, but then I don't know, I just like to keep all of the original stuff together. I do wish that more publishers would just print onto the physical hardcover book instead of even including the dust jacket, just print it on the naked book. Next up, we're going to talk about excessive cursing. I agree with this 100%. This definitely icks me out. I do think it's funny sometimes because obviously cursing is in a lot of people's vocabulary. Like when you're just talking and having a normal average conversation, you might drop a curse word in there every once in a while. But what bothers me is whenever that is literally the entire vocabulary of our characters. To me, it comes across as lazy. It feels like it's like you're trying to show more of a shock factor or like make your words hit harder instead of just having and using a complete sentence. If you only know how to curse and like you can't go a single sentence without cursing, then I start to recognize it. I start to see the curse words and it starts to bother me. I personally don't like that. I feel like it takes away from the dialogue of our characters. Next up, we have small font sizes. Okay, last year I did whenever it has really long chapters, and to me this kind of fits right in. And the reason why is I'm thinking of A Little Life. If you've ever read A Little Life, then you know that book has excessively long chapters. It's excruciating, and the font size is the tiniest font size ever. If a book has long chapters or has really small font size, I am immediately unmotivated to then read that book. It just makes it really hard for me to read it, and it makes me feel like I'm not making a difference when I'm reading, and like it's going to take me 5 years just to finish one page. Next up, we have song lyrics in the book. I recently read a book, Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston, and that book, it involves music. It talks about music pretty much the entire book. That is how our two main characters bond and come together and fall in love, is through music. If the book is like that, where it revolves around music, then I actually like having song lyrics in there. It makes it feel more authentic and makes sense with the plot. If you're just throwing song lyrics in there randomly in a book, like someone starts singing to the other person, it's really cringy. I'm sorry. I'm trying to like then picture how they're singing the words. I get it. It can be like a form of like being creative. It's unnecessary. You don't need to do that. Unless the book is about music and it makes sense, just don't do it. Enemies to lovers and romance. I would agree with this one. I love enemies to lovers, like personally, especially in fantasy. That is like my bread and butter. Like that is one of my all-time favorite tropes, because to me it just makes the romance hit harder. People say that like love and hate, there's like a fine line there. Both involve a lot of passion, and I would agree with that. So like it makes sense that someone could go from hating someone to then loving them. When a publisher tries to advertise a romance book as enemies to lovers, that's when it kind of bothers me, because it's not that deep. Hate to love, sure, like I get it. Some people have like bad first impressions, or they just really don't like someone and then they end up falling in love. Sure, that happens in real life. But whenever they're like, they're my enemy, like, no, they're not. Okay, if you've never read fantasy, then no, they're not. You don't understand what an actual enemy is. It feels more genuine in fantasy rather than in romance. It feels like a kid trying to play dress up. When one of the main characters has a significant other at the very beginning of the book, I agree with this 100%. If it's a romance book and you know that those two main characters are going to end up together and yet one of them has a significant other, to me it almost feels like borderline cheating. Like it feels like you're emotionally cheating on your significant other. I feel like authors throw this in there as like a complication to like make sure that their two characters don't end up together very quickly, because there's like an obstacle there. I just don't like it personally when they have that partner for majority of the book. It's gonna be a no from me. This next one is kind of silly, but also at the same time, I do have an opinion on it, and that is when people lick their finger to turn a page in their book. I didn't think I had an opinion on this until I like actually sat and thought about it. I don't do this with my books. I think it kind of, to me, almost feels like if I decide to do that, then I'm adding water damage to my book, even though it's like, it's the barest traces of saliva, whatever. And I understand why people do it, especially if the pages are like harder and like a little bit stickier, or if you have sprayed edges and they're like still a little bit stuck together. I understand like why you do it, but also at the same time, I never do that. So when I see someone out in public lick their finger to then turn the page, For some reason that just, it seems like very sexual, and like, I don't know why that's just so icky to me, but it just is. Partial covers. I don't really know how to describe this besides like showing a picture on the screen. So it's whenever a publisher, especially in paperbacks, I think it only ever happens in paperbacks, they will have the front cover be like slightly too short, and then you'll have like an edge of like the second page in your book, where usually it's like a blurb or like New York Times bestseller, like it'll have something written along that edge. I personally hate this. It doesn't make it look like it's a newer book. You just took away from the cover by adding this little thin strip that no one pays attention to or cares about. That's just my personal opinion. I would rather my cover be the entire cover. Next up, we have age gaps. I personally hate age gaps. I did recently read a book that had a decent sized age gap. I think they had like at least 10 years in between each other, and I think it just comes across as icky. I understand the older you get, the less age necessarily matters, but if you're both in like your 20s, even early 30s, sometimes it comes across a little icky, especially if you're constantly mentioning your age. If you want me to root for them and like act like this is normal, then quit bringing up the age. Just let it be a normal thing. You don't need to keep acknowledging it over and over. I understand like having those conversations early on. I think that's smart, but when that's like all you're talking about the entire book is how like you're so much younger, you're so much older, it gets annoying and it makes me not root for the characters anymore. Cringy pet names. I don't mind pet names. I understand it's like a term of endearment. It's supposed to be cute, but especially when they're like things that are just not pet names. That's when it really bothers me. A book I literally just finished this morning, he was calling her Lightning Bug. Yeah, you heard that right. He called her Lightning Bug. Especially when they only ever call that person by that pet name. Throw their name in there sometimes. Pet names, I think, are usually just cringy, and it depends on the person. It depends on the pet name as well. If it's like an inside joke between you two, it sometimes can be okay. But like when you're like in all seriousness using that pet name, I don't love that. And the last book ick we're going to talk about today is love triangles. I hate love triangles. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a love triangle in a book. Okay, someone obviously is going to get hurt, and it feels like you're cheating, like you're leading both people on. You know who you like. Be honest with yourself. Also, I think this is one that I feel like I'm a little bit more passionate about right now because I have been watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, the newest season, season 3. And that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me rant about a whole bunch of book icks today. Stay tuned for next week. I have a very fun and exciting video that I am in the middle of filming, and I am so excited to get it posted. It's just bringing me so much joy. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.